Welcome, brave souls. Venture out on a virusy night. Maybe smudging will become the new Perel sanitizer, you think? Yeah. So anyway, thank you for coming out. It's nice to have you here. And tell me your name again.
I'm Michael.
You're Michael. Okay. And you haven't been here before, have you?
It's my first time.
Welcome. It's nice to have you
Thank
here.
you. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yes, of course. It's my pleasure. It's the highlight of my month as well, so that's always nice to have people here to share that with. So, welcome to Pisces. This will be an interesting month. How many of you have a strong Pisces in your chart, either sun, moon, or rising sign in Pisces? Yeah?
Me.
Tell me your name again.
Lars.
Lars, nice to have you here. So wherever Pisces is in your chart, you'll be impacted by the energies. The people that have it strongly in their chart usually are affected by it a little bit more. So I'm going to start tonight by giving you a little more esoteric understanding of one of the mantras of Pisces, and then we'll get down into the personal aspect of it. But one of the mantras for Pisces is, I leave the Father's house, and turning back, I save. And some people have correlated that with the story of the prodigal son in the Bible. But from the esoteric perspective, from the ancient wisdom teachings perspective, it's a little more it's a little broader than that. It really reveals the evolutionary journey. So when we incarnate from the spiritual realms, and we descend into physical reality. So we become more dense than we are when we're in the spiritual realm. So we sort of take on the vibration of the earth energy. And that's a dense energy. It's much denser than it is up in the spiritual realms. So that's called the involutionary journey, where we go down into matter. And we stay there for lifetimes and lifetimes before our soul really has a chance to make any kind of impact on us, because we're really basically animal man at that point of the beginning of our incarnational journeys, going back eons. But slowly, through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime and experiences in physical reality, we begin to be aware that there's something more than just our bodies. We're more than our feelings, our thinking, our physical bodies. And so at that point, there's sort of an awakening to what that greater something is, our higher self, our soul, spirit, whatever you want to label it. And that begins our evolutionary journey back to the source, back to the oneness from which we came. So the journey, when it says, I leave my Father's house, we're coming into incarnation, and turning back, I save. Turning back, I go back to my source. But the saving part has an aspect of redemption to it, because we go from being a physical being with all that density and all that dense vibration to becoming lighter and lighter and lighter as we move up the evolutionary path. Because the more that we connect with that aspect of ourselves, the soul or the higher self, the more we bring light into the body. And so in a way, we're talking about redeeming that dense substance of matter that we are made of into a finer, higher vibrational aspect, which brings in more and more light, until finally we are filled with light, because we are totally fused with our souls, and that's what we call enlightenment. So it's the journey that we all take, no matter where we are on the evolutionary path. We all come back down into matter, depending upon how much progress we've made on the spiritual aspect in terms of bringing more light into our bodies, will depend upon how much of that physical substance we take on when we reincarnate. So some of us some of you will come back with a lot of light in your body, and you won't be stuck down in there in that density for very long. You'll be moving upward again toward your home. Other people will be stuck there for quite a while until they finally wake up. So the future holds or foretells a time when all of humanity is filled with light, when we've all made that journey and we've redeemed the dense vibrations in our physical bodies, and we've reached that place of oneness. And that's the future for humanity at some distant time. It's a little hard to imagine it right now in the midst of all that's going on. But it's something to hope for, and it's something to keep your mind focused on, that is our destiny as a planet and as a humanity. So it's hard not to find, get lost in the despair and the chaos of the what's going on in the world. But it's helpful if we can hold that larger picture of what is emerging. And we know from our own spiritual journeys that it doesn't come overnight, right? I mean, we've all worked very, very hard to get even to where we are. So consciousness does not change quickly. It takes a long time. So we have to be patient as well. But each step that we take toward that moves us further along, and as I said, brings in more light into the body. So don't ever think that the small little steps that you take to become a better person, or to become more infused with your soul, or to, live more like a soul, don't ever think that that doesn't have a huge impact, because every little step that we take not only impacts us and the light that we bring into our body, but it impacts our environment, the people that we meet, our world, our planet. That light goes out and touches everyone and everything. So we each have a really important role to play in being committed to using that energy of the soul and that energy of oneness consciously in our lives. And Pisces is the planet, is the sign of oneness. It's unity consciousness. The highest place a Pisces can reach on their evolutionary journey is to be one with everything. And that's the vision that most Pisces hold in their consciousness somewhere. So it's one reason why Pisces can sometimes be seen as living in the mystical world, because they have access to that mystical world. And sometimes they live there, but don't know how to get back into physical reality and make something happen. So that's where we bring in the energy of Virgo, which is the opposite sign to Pisces. Virgo is an earth energy, so it's very pragmatic, very grounded and centered and rational and logical thinking and perfectionistic. And so Virgo comes in there and says, let's make some order out of this. And Pisces says, oh, I just want to go with the flow. I just want to move along there and just let things happen. Virgo says, let's make a logical decision here. Before we do anything, let's think about this really carefully and let's make sure that we have all the facts. And Pisces like, oh, I just kind of trust my intuition. I just kind of go with the flow and don't worry too much about that. And so it's an interesting marriage to consider this month, how to blend those two opposite energies. I think the best description I heard of it was, let me see if I can find it, bringing the clarity of mind with the wisdom of the heart. So Virgo is the energy that brings that mental clarity, that logical thinking, rational, and Pisces is the heart. So clarity of mind and the wisdom of the heart is a good way to bring those two energies together within ourselves. How do we, this month, how do we notice, first of all, are we kind of spacing out? Are we just going to that place where, la la la, this feels so good, I just want to stay here in this mystical la la land and just fantasize and visualize, because Pisces are great visionaries. I mean, they have the ideas, they have the inspirations. So just watch yourself this month, because there's an aspect that's happening this month as well. The planet Neptune is sitting very close to the Pisces sun, and Neptune is all about dissolving boundaries and, nothing solid, just sort of amorphous out there. And it's very good for psychic sensitivity. You may have very powerful dreams this month, because that energy is very strong this month. But it doesn't make it easy to bring things down into reality. So just be mindful this month and notice when you're kind of spacing out, and you can call in that Virgo energy and just say, okay, that's a great idea, that's a great dream, that's a great intuitive hit. What do I want to do with it? I've told this story many, many times, but I'll tell it again because it always reminds me of Pisces. I was connected to a man one time who had 5 planets in Pisces. And I have Capricorn rising, so I'm a strong earth sign. And we would go for drives. He was a therapist as well, and he would see this beautiful land and this gorgeous setting. He'd say, oh, I can just visualize a retreat center here. I can just see we could put buildings over here, and we could have a little garden over there, and we could this. And I'm going, okay, well, first of all, we have no money. Secondly, we're 4 hours from Seattle, so that doesn't make much sense. People aren't going to drive 4 hours just to get to our little retreat center. So I was just going bing, 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 and he was like, oh, but we could. So it's important to bring those two together. And I love the fact that the Pisces energy stimulates all that creativity and that imagination and that larger vision. But just remember that it has to go along with action and concrete grounding reality, bringing something into manifestation. That's the journey of Pisces and Virgo. So always, when you're thinking about the elements and the signs, you always join water and earth. So the water and earth signs are Pisces, Virgo, Cancer, Capricorn, Scorpio, and Taurus. And those are all water and earth signs. So every one of those signs has the same challenges that we do this month about bringing things down into concrete reality. And then you have the fire signs, who are always paired with the air. So fire signs are very passionate, fiery, they have a lot of energy, but they have to channel it through their mental bodies so that it doesn't become like an emotional dynamite. So that's something just to remember when you're thinking about different signs, that each group of signs has the same 2 elements. That makes sense what I said. Some of the astrologers that look into the future think that eventually we'll just end up with 6 signs, because as humanity evolves and learns how to bring together each opposite sign into a synthesis, into a union, that it'll just be one sign that we'll be dealing with. So that's many eons in the future, I think. Most of us are down here just struggling how to bring our ideas into reality when we're in this month. But that's an interesting perspective for the future. So the qualities of Pisces. Pisces are known as dreamers, mystics, idealists, visionaries, but they can become martyrs. They can become victims, and sometimes the lost soul, because Pisces really wants to save. It wants to go down into the dredge and bring up those people that are disenfranchised. And sometimes Pisces can do that to the expense of their own self. So they can sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice And then, they might become resentful, or they might become just burnt out from all that sacrifice. So boundaries are really important for people with strong Pisces. How do I serve without getting overwhelmed, without giving myself away? How do I be helpful without doing it out of obligation or a sense of duty? Can I give from a place of fullness within me so that I don't get depleted in my giving? So those are things to just kind of be aware of this month. If you're sort of a natural born caretaker, you might have a tendency this month to overdo it if you're not careful, and keep your boundaries clear. Always check in with your body before you're ready to give something or take care of someone or go help someone. Is my body okay with this? Can I really do this with the energy that I have? Or am I pushing myself because I feel a sense of duty or obligation, or that, oh, that's just my role. I have to sacrifice myself for all these people that I'm trying to help. It's imbalanced when that happens, and we don't have a good, strong sense of holding on to our own energy. We're so giving that we don't hold on to what our own energy is. So can we be compassionate without being a martyr? Can we be vulnerable without being a victim? Can we be open and receptive without losing the awareness of healthy boundaries? How do you keep your heart open and still say no? That's a challenge for a lot of us, I know personally, it's easy for me to close my heart down and then say no. But how do I keep that loving energy available and just say, no, I can't do this right now? Or the tactic I always use when I was first becoming aware of my own tendencies was, give me a little time to think about that and I'll get back to you. That was my tactic for working up to saying no. So another aspect of Pisces that we're dealing with this month is that it's the 12th sign of the zodiac. So it's the end of the astrological year. And so usually when we say that portends some kind of closure, some kind of something wrapping up, completion this month. So think about this past year in your life, the challenges that you've had, the lessons that you've learned, the growth that you've made. Is there anything that's left that needs to be completed? Is there any area of your life where closure needs to happen that you haven't quite been able to manage up until now? And know that this is a great month to do that, to think about what is it in my life that I need to let go of, so that next month when we move into Aries, which is dynamic, fire, initiating, put something out into the world energy, we will have sort of cleared the decks for that new energy to come into us. If we're still bogged down with loose ends and thinking, something needs to close and something needs to end, but I don't know how to do it, or I don't know when, or da-da-da-da-da, then that new Aries energy will not have as great an impact for you to start what needs to be started and begin what needs to be begun. So just sort of think about that this month. Whatever area of your life might need that closure, relationships, jobs, family, whatever it might be. Just good to ponder that for a bit. We've also got the spring equinox coming up this month. So that's another change of season that sort of invites us to examine how we can be more open and cleared out for that new season to emerge, for spring to come forth and bring forth something within us. So we're not just all clogged up with whatever is holding us back or whatever's been true in the past. So I have a wonderful poem that I've read a lot in this group, so please forgive me if you're sick and tired of it, but it's the greatest poem for giving you permission to let go of whatever it is you need to let go of. It's called She Let Go, and it was written by a woman named Sapphire Rose. She let go. Without a thought or a word, she let go. She let go of the fear. There's a lot of that out there these days, right? She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions that were swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision that lived within her. She let go of all the right reasons. Wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry, she just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. That would be what I would do. She didn't search all of the sacred texts. She just let go. She let go of all of the memories that held her back. She let go of all of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't tell her friends and discuss the matter. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. So, what would that be like? To let it go and just let things be what they are, right? Accepting what is. Somebody said, be passionate about reality. Be devoted to reality, to what is, not what might be or what we want to be or what do you think it should be, but what is, and just accepting it. This is what is in this moment. The more we struggle with it, the more we suffer, right? I don't want it to be this way. I didn't decide this. I don't want it to be another way. So does that make us happy? No, I don't think so. Okay, so just real briefly, I'm going to touch on, I was going to spend a little more time on the aspects that are going on this month, but I think it would be more helpful if I spent this last few minutes talking about ways in which we can deal with the stress and the fear that's going on in our world over this virus. How we can use our spiritual practices to strengthen ourselves while we're going through this. I mean, we all know what they're telling us to do medically and washing your hands and all that, but this is more like, how do I really just take care of myself on the deepest level that I can? So I sort of made a little list, and I'm going to let you, I have these printed out if you want to take one with you when you go home. One of the things I think that is most helpful and also strengthens our immune system, by the way, is sending love and gratitude to our bodies. You know, instead of carrying around all that fear, like, oh, am I going to get sick? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm so worried. Just take that energy and send love and compassion and tenderness to yourself. And be grateful that your body has held up as long as it has, in whatever shape it's in. It's carried you for many years. And I think just pausing several times during the day to just say, thank you. I'm so grateful that I have this body that I have. And sending love to the body. I remember when I broke my shoulder 2 or 3 years ago, at first I was like, oh, jeez, you really let me down. You know, I've never had a broken bone in my life, and all of a sudden now I'm fractured in 2 places, and I was angry, you know. And then after a while I thought, how is that helping it to heal? You know, it doesn't do any good. In fact, it's not good for you to send those negative thoughts to your body. So as much as you can, you know, fully accept your body wherever it is, whatever shape it's in. It still deserves to be loved and honored and sent gratitude. And I think expanding your gratitude practice to just include all the little things during the day that you can see to be grateful for. Someone suggested once for people who do a lot of walking as their exercise, take the first 15 minutes and just see what you can be grateful for in those first 15 minutes. You know, the ability to walk, a little daffodil on the side of the road, you know, a blue sky, the birds chirping, whatever it is. That can be a really powerful practice for maintaining our strength and our inner immune system. Go outside and put your bare feet on the earth, or hug a tree. Take a walk and notice and appreciate nature. Give her your blessing. Feel how it grounds you to be connected to the earth. You know, being grounded and centered during this time of chaos in our world is really, really important, because otherwise we can just so easily get off center, right? And we don't know where we are or what we can hold on to. There's always rescue remedy from the Bach flower remedies. Or there's another solution called emergency trauma solution that I take. Whenever I just read something that kind of stimulates that fear, I grab it and just take 12 drops, and that can really strengthen your system. Take some time to be in silence and connect with that deeper part of yourself. Strengthening that connection will help you sink into a feeling of safety when fear arises. During the day, monitor your thoughts and your feelings and sensations. Just be mindful of them. Become the observer. Try to hold them in loving kindness without overly identifying with them. Identify with your wholeness. So, you know, someone said, don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything you feel. You know, it's the physical aspect of our being that is feeling those, and we, in our essence, are so much more than that. We're spirit. We're whole and complete in that essence. So when you find yourself succumbing to negative thoughts or negative emotions, just remember who you are and identify with that. Sometimes I think it helps to create an image of safety if you feel fear. Like, I have a favorite image that I've used for many years. It's this Native American woman with this huge lap, and she sits down in the center of the earth. And when I feel really fearful, I go there in my imagination, and I sit in her lap, and she rocks me like this, and she just says, "They're there. They're there. It's going to be all right. They're there." It's very comforting, I have to say. So whatever image might work for you, I would suggest, you know, go there and be there and see how it calms down your fears. I think it's a good idea to make friends with fear. I was trained in guided imagery as part of my professional training, and we were taught that when something like fear comes up, that we sit in silence and we go to a quiet place and we call in all of our allies and we get really grounded in the earth and get into a really place of deep silence, and then we ask, for instance, for fear to join us. And then we see, does fear have an image? Does it have a color? Does it have a feeling? Examine it, and just see. And then you ask it what it wants from you or how it wants to work with you. And I actually did this the other day, and fear said to me, I'm here to be your friend. I'm here to be your ally. I'm here to wake you up so that when you feel this fear, you know that you're forgetting who you really are. You're just forgetting that for a moment. So know that when you feel that fear, you need to go back into that place of totally identifying with yourself as essence. And there's nothing to fear there, right? So it was just a beautiful conversation, and we can just do this in our minds, we're just making it up, but it's a profound way of healing, because you're starting to use that fear as a way to heal and as a way to let it become your ally rather than your enemy. Most of us, I think, when we feel fear, we just want it to go away and we push it away. But to be friendly with it creates a whole new dynamic. So that's just an idea, but it's a really powerful way to work with yourself. So those are some suggestions I have. If sounds like anything would be helpful to you, then please help yourself. They're on the counter back there before you go. Okay, shall we prepare for meditation? I'm just going to say the words for you. Okay, so let's just close our eyes for a moment. And take a few deep breaths. And see if you can go to that quiet place within yourself. That place of stillness. See if you can get a sense of your essence, of who you are in your essence. Call in your soul. And then listen to the words of this song. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. If you put your focus gently on your heart, you may feel the love that is in this place, the love that surrounds you, the love that is you. Pisces helps us open to this love that we all are. Take a moment now to visualize the color indigo blue. This is the color of Pisces. See this Piscean energy as Christ-like love, and imagine this unconditional love of the Christ filling your heart space. See yourself now enveloped within a field of love, a field of oneness where there is no separation. Feel that sense of oneness enter you as you inhale, and on the exhalation, send that loving oneness outward into your environment. So breathing in your oneness and exhaling it out into the environment. Silently now, chant the sacred word, the Om, in honor of love, silently to yourself. Now place your attention on the head center, where the energy of the mind resides. The Virgo energy of discernment lives here. Breathe into the head center that quality of discernment that allows you to clearly see the true from the false, the self and all that is not your true self, the not self. See if you can feel that energy of focus, clarity, and discernment pouring into the mental body. Feel the strength that this brings into your body. Use your will now to seize that strength and make it your own. Now breathe a silent Om in reverence to the discerning mind of Virgo. Finally now, imagine those energies coming together and coalescing within you. What would it feel like to embody a discerning heart? What would it feel like to embody a focused, purposeful love? Now imagine yourself taking these united energies, the clarity of mind and the love of the heart, and expressing them out into the world. Could you walk through your day noticing, being aware of differences, and yet not judging? Could you be aware in your daily life of the underlying oneness that connects us all, while still acknowledging the individual and their humanness. Can we accept someone's humanness and see beyond that to their oneness? What would it feel like to embody loving discernment? This month, let us commit to being mindful of the disparate parts of ourselves and of others, and yet not lose sight of our loving essence, that which binds us together. Let us do what we can to love intelligently. I'd like to close with this ancient mantra. I am a point of light within a greater light. I am a strand of loving energy, focused within the stream of love divine. I am a point of sacrificial fire, focused within the fiery will of God, and thus I stand. I am a way by which men may achieve. I am a beam of light shining upon their way, and thus I stand. And standing thus revolve, and tread this way the ways of men, and know the ways of God. And thus I stand. Time to come back, friends. Namaste. Thank you. And let's close with the great invocation, which is a world prayer for invoking light and love and power onto the planet. And we pause after each stanza to sort of visualize what's happening. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And then we'll close with 3 ohms. Om.